Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Absolute Carnage, issue number 2 of 6. Okay, listen, I'm not here to bash anybody else's event. What I am here to do is to propagate this one. My peeps. A lot of times, we'll get an event and all these tie-ins will pop in and be like, oh yeah, buy my event and, go check out this tie-in over here where there's some kind of a story going on independently, but somehow tentatively related to this main story. That doesn't happen here. This also shows up here, big time. Here, big time. Hey, we're over here too. Look, this is one hell of an event. This is one hell of an event right here. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth your time. No spoilers for this review. There's no need to, but I will be telling you who made the book because, oh my God. Okay, here we go. So we got Donny Cates as the writer. Ryan Stegman is the penciler. The boys are back in town. Inker J.P. Meyer. Color artist Frank Martin, Stegman, Meyer, and Martin did the main cover. Whole bunch of people doing the variant covers, and VC's Clayton Cowles doing the letters. So, Absolute Carnage, my peeps. I'm going to start with the back of the book, actually, and just tell you that there's a couple of letters in here. There's a full letter with transcribed by Clay McLeod Chapman, which I think is awesome because he's the guy who's been doing all of those one-page venomized issues. They have the one page that gives you hints of what's going in the future, mostly involving rats and, carnageized rats and stuff like that. Anyway, he actually did this 2-page letter, which is the transcript of the psychiatric evaluation of Norman Osborn, which is really freaking cool. Also, the initial behavior assessment at Ravencroft for Norman Osborn, where it explains that Norman now thinks that he is Cletus Cassidy. Oh, wow, shoot. That explains a lot of what's going on in this book now. Because there were some parts where I'm like, why is Norman acting like this exactly? I'm also sure this is going to have something to do with what's about to happen in the future, all right? Spider-Man and Venom have to get away, and quite literally, Venom has to spread his wings to get them away. Spider-Man's reaction is effing classic. I'm really just going to mention briefly that everything that happens in these other books, it's touched on here. And by touched on, I mean, it's not just an acknowledgement that it's happening, but there's actually parts in here that are integral to those books over there, which helps you to understand both, the other books that they're mentioning here. It's funny that now that Cletus has Norman, that this seems to be where the biggest rivalry is. And Norman's just crazy enough, go figure, to explain to Cletus that there can only be one of us. Wow. You got balls on you the size of a freaking Mack truck, man. 2 Mack trucks, one for each testicle. There's only but so much I can even get into this, man, because so much of this would just be spoilers, and that's not what I'm here to do. So instead, what I am going to do is I'm going to remind you that it's summertime. What? What are you talking about, Professor Bill? Well, I'm going to get into that in a hot second. You notice that I've always got a physical copy of a comic book in my hands, right? I'm not here to bash other reviewers because I don't know if they're doing Comixology or some other method of getting the comic book that's, legal. But yeah, there's a reason why I get the physical copies. It's because I want to show you that I actually support the comic book companies. That's what I do. Comic books have disappeared because of sales, because people are illegally downloading them. I've talked about it in my podcasts recently. I've talked about them a couple of times. Go and check out every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a podcast, and often enough I bring up, guys, please buy the physical copies. If not, at the very least, get the Comixology, because if we're not buying the comic books, what exactly are we doing? So we've got to support the comic book industry because these things do disappear. Why did I mention that summertime? I just met Donny Cates for the first time. He held my my Venom, which he called his son. Go and check out my Twitter feed to see him holding the doll and us, hanging out together. Like, yeah, what's going on? Yeah. And after the picture, I snatched this back. I'm like, give me that back. And now the high priest now has the doll held by the god himself. So, what do you call it? Go check out the Twitter, whatever, and go and check out some local convention that will have Donny Cates at it. it's summertime. He's making his rounds, my peeps. It's easy to travel right now. You know what I'm saying? So go and meet him. And these trades won't be out for a while. So get the physical copies. You're supporting the business, and you can actually get him to sign these things. And he's kind of a cool person to meet in person. Answers your questions. He takes his time with you. You know what I'm saying? It's worth waiting in line to meet some of these guys, and Donnie's definitely one of them. Yeah, so I know I'm getting a little bit preachy with the whole purchase the comic books thing, and, you know, be wary of those who talk about comic books but don't hold a physical copy in my hand. I'm hoping one of these days that maybe Marvel will actually start sending me early preview copies, which will make it easier to review the books because I'll have read them in advance, and I can start making these books a lot sooner. Contact Marvel and say, Professor Bill needs advanced copies. I'm just saying there are other sites who get them early, and it would be cool if I did too. But that being said, I would still be purchasing the physical copies because I kind of want the business to stay afloat. And if you're worried, well, why is Professor getting so preachy? Because remember, whenever we're talking about Venom comic books, it's Professor High Priest. And what kind of a high priest would I be if I didn't preach just a little bit? Anyway, definitely get the books, guys. Get them signed by Donny Cates. Get them signed by all of your favorite peeps because it's worth it. It's worth it to you. You want to sell them, do a CGC thing, fine, do that. Otherwise, do them for yourself. Get them personalized. This is something that you get to hold on to. And your kids are going to read these books if you have them. And they'll be able to say, holy crap, you actually met these guys? Yeah, kid. Yeah, I did. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.